Hello, my little weirdos. I just got back from working the elections. Long day. I haven't worked the elections in 20 years, and it's as brutal as I remember. I got there about 20 of quarter of 5, and everybody else got there. It was relatively busy, actually. They said the people that usually work in that precinct district said that on a good day, they usually had a good election. They usually have about 200 in our district that I was working, and we voted 400, about 450. I think it was like 450, 451, or 448, something like right around 450. Just me and another person, and then we had another precinct was sharing the polling place, and they had 327 or something like that. We voted about 450, so that's more than double their normal election turnout. So I haven't turned into anything. I just got home and I look and feel like a drowned out rat. I am so tired. Headache, and I didn't eat that. I brought plenty of food, but I don't know, I was wired so much. And we did have one incident. We had one incident. Apparently this is a guy that he comes in every year to vote, but he's a Vietnam vet. The two people the guy and the gal that work there a lot, she knows him, and he's a Vietnam vet. Was it Vietnam? And he just got a lot of things going on. You're not allowed to bring your dogs unless it's a working, helping dog. He had his dog on a leash, nice dog. Nah, he had an unauthorized shirt and an unauthorized, about this big, I don't know what it was, wood or whatever, somebody's cardboard head. Also a candidate, not allowed. So, and even if it's a candidate on a down ballot, it doesn't matter. You're still, And he got loud, and then got louder, and he was yelling at the two other people. That's why they said, he told me that he has issues, which, I get. But he was calling us communists and damn Democrats, and didn't even know who was and who wasn't, But because we, Arizona and New Jersey are states that you can't wear any party or candidate affiliation stuff, and it's got a big old name on your shirt or your hat, or you can't, especially a picture of the person. And he had a dog. It wasn't a working dog, but I guess he does it every year. But he was really getting loud, and the two people that knew him just weren't. He just wasn't calming down, and they called the police. So I grabbed my phone, and I was on, and she just wasn't. I had to tell her 3 times what was going on. It was like, it's such and such community center. It's the election. And so finally, the one guy that knows the other one, he grabbed my phone to explain it to her. And so I thought, fine, he's got my phone. I just kind of went over to the guy and I was like, listen, all right, nobody else is screaming. You don't need to scream. I get you're upset. Okay, I understand you're upset. But you don't need to scream and get everything else in a tizzy. I mean, you just, all right, just calm down, okay? Just because I know saying relax is just, oof. But yeah, he actually calmed down a little bit. I mean, where he was just talking loud, not screaming, And then 4 or 5 cops show up. It's like, oh yeah, it's a little overkill. I mean, they could hear him screaming in the background when I was on the phone. I was like, you can hear him screaming. You really need to get an officer down here, please. I had to tell her the place 3 freaking times. I was like, it's a polling place. It's such and such and such. community center on such and such address. We need somebody, please. That's where the other guy finally took it, because I'm just like, and then they show up with 4 or 5 cops. I'm like, well, that's that a big guy who's already upset and little. Yeah, just bring on 4 or 5 guys right in his face. Maybe have a few of them back as backup in case, and just like with 2 of them first. That was like, oh wow, nothing like enhancing the situation. So, after it was all calmed down and everybody was voted for that for that time, one of the other guys from on my district, he came over when the other fellow wasn't around. And he said, I just want to let you know you handled him. You were doing really well with him. That was a good job. And I told him that I had worked 10 years in men's state prisons, and there was a lieutenant who told the women, because there's less of us, and he said, you women think you have a disadvantage in the men's prison, and you guys think you're on the even keel, men, type of thing. He says, what you guys don't understand, he says, is those ladies right there have way more power in here than you do. And then he looked at us and said, if you know how to use it and when. And that's when and that's what I was telling the guy after everybody was gone. I said, no voters were around. I said, yeah. And he told us that if there's ever an inmate and you're on a men's yard, getting upset, screaming, yelling, peacocking, the best thing to do is, if you have a woman on the yard, get her ass out there and you go into the control room, or get a woman, if there's one on the other side of the rec yard or whatever, have the woman get over there. He says there is nothing like, you put a male officer with an upset male inmate, they're just going to try to out-peacock each other. Nobody wants to bring down their guard, right? You bring a woman in, especially like Hispanic, because there was a lot of Hispanic people when I was in Arizona, and like black families, a lot of families actually have, you do not disrespect the woman. I don't care how much you hate her, because it's like disrespecting your sister or your mother or your aunt, and they won't have that. In fact, when I was pregnant, I had several inmates say, if anything ever went down, a riot, an incident, he goes, I just want you to, you won't have to worry. As long as you're pregnant, nobody's going to touch you. We'll make sure nobody else, none of us are going to touch you, because you're a pregnant woman, and that's absolutely hands off. So he said, just so you know, don't worry about that, because ain't none of us going to let any of the others, hurt any pregnant woman. They do. I mean, inmates may have done stuff, but they do have codes, and that's what he told me. He says it's so much easier for an inmate that's upset to back down and roll it back a little bit with a woman asking him, because you can't haul off and, deck the woman. Your mom would be very angry when she hears it from the prison official. You know what I'm saying? And he was right, because you guys, and they just nobody wants to let their, who's his little pissing contest. You bring a female on, especially one that is able to be like, you can't be like, calm down, because when somebody does that to me, when I'm really upset, and they just go, calm down, I can't talk to you, calm down. When they talk to me like that, it's just like, you want to go double dose on them. It's just like, shut the F up. You don't tell somebody when they're really upset and you're not acknowledging. That's what you need to first acknowledge. I get you're upset, and yeah, you have a right to be. You do. But just take a breath and let me tell you something, okay? It's happened to me too. And I'm angry as all get out when it happens. But it's not their fault. It's these, And with an Asian woman, she came in and she was yelling at the guy next to me. I never got a letter. I never. She was not happy, and she had a face mask on, so it was even harder to understand her. She was really hot. It was the guy in the other precinct. We didn't even know. She just didn't even want to. She just wanted to tell, upset. And I thank you for working in the prisons for a decade, because I was like, I same thing. I said, no, I get what you're saying. I get it. But it's the post office, not you. She never got her sample ballot. And she goes, I need that. I was like, I know. And I said, do you need a few minutes to? No, I looked somewhere else. But she was really upset. And she could speak English well, but, there was some problems with the face mask on as well. And she was very upset. She was really upset and angry. And by the time I got done talking to her and got her signed in and gave her all her stuff, I said, and I told her, I said, the post office for the last 8-9 years, they seem to lose voting materials. They seem to lose anything with housing vouchers programs. They seem to lose anything with EBT. So if you don't get it, if it's 2 weeks late delivered, you don't know you're supposed to be doing a review, and you lose your benefits. Then you have to go through hell to get them back. That's the game they play. Okay? Ever since DeJoy was in. If you remember, in 2020, right before the elections and the mail-in ballots were starting to come in, he yanked a whole bunch all over the country of sorting machines, mail sorting machines. And there was an emergency court order, and the court said, absolutely effing not. You're doing this deliberately because of the election coming up, and because DeJoy was not hired by, but he was pushed onto the board by Trump. And what they want to do is they've been trying to be late or misdirect the mail for a few weeks. So you get it late, and if you fall off the program because you didn't recertify or redo whatever it needed signed, once it was 6 questions. And I never got it, and I didn't know they were sending anything out, so I fell off it. And I was like, I lost it. I'm like, I never got anything. But that's what they want, because they're hoping, they did it in 2020, hoping that if Trump got in, he would have less people to dump off those programs. And that is why your mail is so messed up. Because he took away those sorting machines, and the court's like, absolutely effing not. You put those machines back in immediately, every single one across the country. And amazingly enough, all the machines got vandalized that night. Wow. That is why your mail is the way it is. But anyway, I was less dramatic. Hey, Mr. Vance. And did you eat? Did you get your food? They haven't seen me since I left at 4:30 this morning, and it's like 9:30 at night. You miss me, Mr. Pants? But yeah, so she was calmed down and everything, and I had Elizabeth help her vote. And after she got done, she was talking to her for a little while. By the time she left, she was smiling, and she came over to my table, and she was like, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you, and explaining it to me. I was like, not a problem. I get it. That happens to us too, and we work there with them. So but yeah, she had a reason to be upset. But you don't get your shit. I didn't get my mail-in ballot. I had to go vote early, and after I voted early, I found out I was assigned to my own polling place. Oh well. But yeah, interesting day. And she happened in the later afternoon, like probably 5 or 6, something like that. But yeah, that fellow was like, the first couple hours, it was like late morning when he came in, and he was screaming, he was yelling, he was so pissed off. But I think when I finally walked up, when he grabbed the phone for me, Ben grabbed the phone for me, when I walked over to him, I didn't walk over tentatively. You know, he was about this much taller than me. I'm 5'4". But you can't be intimidated. And I didn't walk up cocky or anything. I just walked right up to him. You know, like he wasn't yelling. And I was like, listen, I can't help if you're yelling and screaming and upsetting everybody. Just calm down. And I didn't know at the time that he was a vet and had issues, you know. I didn't know that he came in all the time at first either, because it was the first time I'm working in that precinct, in that polling place. Yeah, and I same thing. I was just, you know, let's just breathe and talk, okay? Let's just. He was, you know, cursing about Democrats and why the hell do I will absolutely not take this is my freedom of speech. I had to try to explain to him that states have different laws. Like some states will let you take a picture in the voting booth with your ballot so you could see the ballot. Some states will they won't let you take a photo in the booth, but you could take it inside the polling place, like by someplace to show you voted. And then there's like, I think it's 21 states, Arizona and New Jersey are both in that it's like, nope, nothing from a party, no donkeys, no elephants, even natural ones, no this, no that. And Jersey is one of those states, and he did not like that. And the same thing happened last year. 4 years ago, they told me. With him, he lost it. So, yeah, we did have somebody, but he didn't throw any punches. I got the feeling he needs to vent a lot about stuff, and I just get the feeling there's nobody around to talk to or vent to, and, you know, he just loses it. Oh, it was very obvious he was a Trump voter. I mean, he was yelling at, you know, he had a big picture of his head, you know. But it's not like, good, yeah, because he kept saying, I don't care about your damn rules. And I was like, okay, it's not my rules. It's not our rules. It's New Jersey's rules. Talk to New Jersey's Board of Elections. They're the ones who make the rules for Jersey and for this county and stuff. It's not the election board making those laws. It's not like us making those laws. It's people above us in the county elections that are making those laws. So, I mean, yelling at us isn't going to make a difference because we didn't make the laws. We can't change the laws. We can't say, well, okay, this time. Because if somebody hears that, then this time for us too. No is no. But it's not a personal thing, and it's not, you know, because you're a particular party or you're whatever, you know, or if it's because it's 11:15, or it's just that's the way every polling place around here has to follow. It's not us. We get you're upset, but it's not our rules. The people in this room, and we can't waive it or give anything like that. Because it's not in our power. We could get in trouble for that. I mean, we can get in some big trouble for that. So, you know, I get you're upset, but you're upset at the wrong people. You're upset with us, and we didn't make those rules. After the election, if you really want to have your say, then call the county board of elections and, you know, but don't yell at them because they're not going to listen. Just tell them you have some questions on why the certain rules are. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get any kind of an answer. And he actually calmed down. He calmed down, but then I had to go sign some people in because the other guy was still on the phone with the cops. So I had to go run, and yeah, he didn't yell anymore after that. And then 4 or 5 cops show up. I'm like, oh, that's the way. We just got him calmed down, relaxed a little, and like that's like a big show the force type of thing. I get they were upset, they were concerned, having backup right there, but all of you coming in at once was kind of like, yeah, this isn't gonna help. um, but yeah, it all worked out. He's fine. He left. He voted. He left. He had his say, but he didn't, throw hands. He did a lot of yelling at us. A lot of yelling and insults to Democrats, but he didn't throw hands. So we got yelled at, but we didn't get spit on, pushed, or punched. So I'll call that one a win, considering the high tempers and short fuses in this 2024. So I really need to have a hit. And my foot is seriously screaming. It is not happy. The chairs, they weren't the worst, but when you're in the same chair and it's got a little rise on either side, and it's not so bad for a half hour, an hour, but after about the third hour, you're like, and if you needed to get stretch and there were people you had to wait and vote them before you got up if the other person was busy. So anyway, I am going to, I wasn't even gonna do a video, but it was very interesting. First time working in Lexington, Jersey. So now I've got 10 years of working elections under my belt in Arizona and a year in Jersey. Ta-da! So, hopefully everybody got to vote. We actually had 2 or 3 from our precinct. 2 of them registered, but they're not sure if they registered before October 15th, and that was the cutoff date for us. One guy had to go to Kurt, and he did. He said he was going to, because it didn't get transferred. The change of address didn't get in time, so he had to go back to the old one. But he went. That's a little bit of a ride. But he said he was going to do it, and that was the early like mid-afternoons, late afternoons. So, but that was about the most exciting stuff. The one guy losing it, coming unglued, and then the one Asian gal, she was so upset. She was an older one, but like maybe my age, 50s, something like that. I'm 61, but yeah, it was interesting. We had a little excitement, couple things that both of them could have easily just escalated, but thanks for working in the prisons and learning to de-accelerate it, de-escalate, de-everything it, and just kind of bring it down a little bit. I get you're upset. I totally get it. I do. I've been there myself. You just want to scream. I get it. But I can't help if you're yelling at me, okay? I can't understand you. It's loud. And the more angry you get, the less you're able to talk, where it makes sense. So just calm it down just enough to like breathe when you're talking, okay? And we can figure this out, okay? We don't need to scream and get everybody upset, please, okay? I don't want a problem. And this is not something that I can change. I don't have the discretion to say you can leave it on. What if somebody from the elections happens to be coming through? They do that like a secret shopper, see if they're doing it the right way. How do I know there's not somebody there on that time? How do I know somebody else says, well, you let him, how come I have to? So it has to be for everybody. That's just the way it's got to be. If you didn't bring enough for the whole class, then wait till you're out of class to eat that. But like I said, all in all, nobody got spit on, pushed, shoved, or punched, or slapped. We did get yelled at a lot. I got yelled at twice. And I was just trying to de-escalate it from the other person. You know, they were like, and the person wasn't calming. So, I mean, I know I can be a loud and intense person. I get it. So I'm gonna go give my kitty cat some love. Peace out.